We are live. Check here.
Yeah, I just got a notification then.
Oh, yeah. G'day, g'day.
I just got a notification then.
Oh, yeah. G'day.
Hi, Jackson.
G'day, everyone. Sorry about all the
Jackson.
noise here, and I'd like to apologise in advance. We've got me the young fella here.
Jackson.
Who? What?
Jackson.
Anyway, so today,
Jackson.
joining me,
Jackson.
I have got Matt Niven. We were going to have Digger on as well, but due to complications, he can't join us, but he may jump on at some stage if he gets his stuff sorted. So just like to say g'day to everyone in the chat. I can see
Jackson.
Lady in the Woods. We've got Frank. We've got Kizzy. We've got Annalise. We've got Barb. Gordon. How you going, everyone? And we've got Matt here in the chat. So how you going, bro?
Good, mate. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
So, yeah, today we're basically going to talk just pretty much anything Yowie related. I got my little Yowie right here being a pain in the bum. So he'll get sick of it eventually and you'll go sit down on the couch, won't you?
Jackson.
No, Jackson's not there. All right. So,
What is this now?
yeah, we'll probably start off, man. We'll go around the table, well, between us two, and we'll introduce ourselves because, yeah, well, got to say, I haven't really introduced myself properly on my shows and stuff like that. So I'll start off by saying, yeah, well, I was born in New Zealand. Grew up Hawke's Bay, little place called Mahia, and then moved to Worrell when I was a little bit older, about 10, 11, I think. Still in Hawke's Bay. Loved my hunting and fishing. That was pretty much, if I had spare time outside of school, that's what I was doing. So, yeah, so that, and then I think I moved over to Australia end of 2002, and I've pretty much been here ever since. Started off in Sydney. I was there for a number of years, and I'm now on the Central Coast, which is just north of Sydney. And I have my very own family here, so that's awesome. What else? Matt, your turn, bro.
Righto. Yeah, I've always lived in Australia. I was born in Sydney. I've spent some time in Victoria and Tasmania as well. Grew up doing a lot of hiking, fishing. Yeah, spending a lot of time in the bush. We had bush directly out ground as a kid. Still do a fair bit of hiking. Love my fishing still. Photography. That's what got me into all this to start with. Yeah, that's probably about it. All my kids are grown up and left home, thank God.
So you don't have them in the background annoying the shit out of you.
Yeah. Now I just get the grandkids, but you can send them home.
Yeah, that's it. That's awesome. Oh, cool, man. Yeah, so you can basically say that we've kind of grown up the same kind of way, I guess, into the same things. So did you have some kind of an experience? Like, how did you how did you get onto the subject of Yowies and Bigfoot and whatnot? I know for myself, I've always been a bit of a weirdo when it comes to the paranormal and all that kind of thing. Pardon? Anyway, so yeah, always into that. I remember, oh god, Bermuda Triangle used to be a big one for me back in the day. What else? Also the Yeti. I remember Sir Edmund Hillary. He actually even went on an expedition up in the Himalayas looking for it. And I always remember a photo of him holding like a skull cap, looked like the top of a skull, had that cone shape and everything, still had the hair attached, which I'm not sure of whether it was a fake or whatever, but it was enough to really intrigue me. So yeah, here I am many years later, actively looking for him, and I can think of no better place than to do that, because sightings are all around here, all around Sydney, you know. So pretty lucky. Yeah. So what happened, bro?
The first thing I can remember happening was probably when I was about 14, around that age, and I was actually leading a hike from Canangra to Katoomba, and I think it was on the second night we were camping by the Cox's River. It was, I think, from memory, there was about 6 of us on the hike. And anyway, we were sitting around, it was about 9 o'clock at night, pitch black, obviously. And from the other side of the river, we were screamed at. Probably, it went on for about maybe 5 minutes. And we were all just like, what? Had no idea. And I can remember saying to the people who were with me, oh, don't worry, it's just a yowie. And we sort of joked about it as you do, you know, like to make ourselves feel better. But it was a pretty intense thing. Anyway, fast forward to 2.5 years ago, I'd actually hiked in the Ku-ring-gai Chase National Park. I was trying to get to the top of a cliff, which had no trails going to it, because I'd noticed there was a peregrine falcon nest on the cliff, and I wanted to see if I could get above it and maybe get some photographs. Anyway, I was probably about 3 kilometres of bush bashing I did, and I was thinking to myself, this is just too hard. The scrub was too thick, and I just thought, I'm going to turn around and go back. Anyway, I noticed up ahead there was a sandstone rock shelf, and I thought, I'll get to there and just have a sit down and have a bit of a rest. I was pretty scratched up from bashing through the scrub. Anyway, as I got closer to this rock shelf, I noticed, well, to start with, I could hear black cockatoos call. I don't know, they've got a very distinct
screechy sound.
Screech call. And
Yep.
I thought,
Whistle.
yeah. I thought I'll see if I can get close enough to maybe get some, good photos. Anyway, I got to this rock shelf, and sitting in the middle of it was a pile of branches and sticks, like a small teepee, I guess. Like when you go to build a fire, you have the sticks sort of up in
TP type structure, yeah.
It was about 3.5 foot tall, 3 foot tall. And I thought to myself, that's strange, you know, like they've obviously been arranged like that by someone. Anyway, I sort of walked towards the sticks and like thinking to myself, like there'd be no one, like no one goes there. There's no trails there, and thinking to myself how strange it was. I thought I'd get some photographs of it. Anyway, I got my camera out and was going to take a photo, and the next minute, a rock about the size of my fist landed bang on the rock shelf in front of me, and I'm looking around, thinking, where the hell did that come from? You know? I actually shouted out, "Hey, you know, like, stop throwing rocks," thinking it was a person doing it. Probably about 30 seconds later, another one landed. Probably in total about 5 or 6.
How big were they? Around the same size, were they, or?
Yeah, they're all around about fist size, I suppose.
Wow, so a decent size. Bloody hell.
And by this stage, I'm like yelling loud, like, "Quit throwing rocks at me!" Like, you know, I'm still thinking it was a person. I could hear to my left was quite thick acacia bushes that you couldn't actually see through, and I could hear movement in the like in amongst the bushes. I sort of thinking, what the hell is going on? You know, like I thought maybe it's a roo or something like that. I then decided, like, I was still calling out to stop throwing stuff, like, you know. I then thought, look, I was quite shook up after having my hands were sort of trembling, and I was thinking to myself, like,
I would have been in the same situation, mate.
yeah. I thought, that's it. I'm just turning around and going back. I'm not hanging around, like. So I got the hell out of there and head home and got on the computer and started Googling stick structures, or I can't remember what the actual thing was I put in Google. Maybe it was teepees or something.
Did you, at the slightest bit, suspect that it could have been something like a yowie?
No clue at all. No clue at all. And yeah, after Googling that, and obviously all the stuff that came up was in the States. And I actually remember Googling rock throwing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's what led me down this path of being interested in this topic.
Wow. So you would have got a big shiver down the spine.
Yeah.
Reading that, eh? Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking to myself, like, never in a million years I would have thought that, you know, these things would be here, you know, like. Anyway, here I am. Like I said, that was about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, right. Wow.
I actually went back to that spot about 6 months later.
Where was it again, sorry?
It was in Kringai Chase.
Kringai Chase, yeah.
Yeah.
And no shortage of reports or anything like that from the area?
Yeah. Well, once I sort of got a bit more attuned at what I'm actually looking for, I started noticing, you know, a lot more very subtle signs, you know, and not like in the States where you see these giant teepees, you know, like 10 foot tall and stuff, but I actually started watching Brett Young, and I don't know if you'd be familiar with Brett.
He's down the south coast. He's got some really good videos, actually.
He has. And he did a video on stick breaks. And as I was walking down a trail, I noticed a small sapling, probably about 3 or 4 inches in diameter, snapped off about 4 or 5 foot up. And I thought, I'll wander in that direction, off trail. And sure enough, just like on Brett's videos, there was another one. Another 50 meters, another one. Another 50 meters, another one. You know, and that's when I thought to myself, yeah, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Like I said, I went back to that spot, and those sticks were completely gone. There was nothing on that rock.
Gone, eh?
Mm. Like the wind didn't blow them away. Like they're just gone. But I didn't see or hear anything else while I was there.
Yeah. Have you been back since those last couple of times, or no?
No, it's such a hell of a walk. It is a real bush bash to get in there.
Yeah. You'd almost think that by going around by boat would be the best bet, eh? We know it's there with the houseboat, you know.
Yeah.
Opens up a lot of access.
Yeah, there's a lot of small beaches in that creek, as you know, and I have found prints on those beaches in the past.
Yep.
You know, there's probably 60, 70 little beaches just between Bobbin Head and the Hawkesbury River in Cowan Creek.
There'd have to be, mate. Yeah, I look on YouTube, on YouTube, Google Earth, and go, wow, you know, all you need is a 12-foot tinny and a 15-horse outboard, mate. Just zip around.
Yeah.
That time where I made that video of those prints that I found.
Yeah.
You could speculate all day as to whether they were human or not, but even that, there was just something strange about the whole thing. Normally, humans like to walk around a fair bit. Why would there be just leave half a dozen prints in one corner of the beach and not actually walk along the beach? And so many things that you try to stay rational, but at the same time, it definitely gets you thinking for sure.
Yeah. And
there's just so much history of them over here. God, you only need to go into just the Yowie Hunters, the AYR forum, and the reports as well, and go through them. There's hundreds, right from the bottom of the Great Dividing Range all the way up to the top, and same goes for WA as well. So it's be very likely that wherever there's water in Australia, you're going to find something along the lines of the Yowie, I reckon. That's my opinion. See, we aren't professionals. We're not experts. We're only sharing our views and opinions on this. So, and I take it in those 2.5 years, you've been pretty active on YouTube, obviously. You seem to be a moderator for every channel that I watch. So you must have been at it for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. That was an accident. I never wanted that.
You're our ambassador. As far as YouTube and Bigfoot goes, you are the Australian ambassador, Matt. So wear that with pride, bro.
It's like I said, I never asked to be a moderator on anyone's channel.
He's a good down-to-earth bloke, mate. That's why.
I don't know.
Pretty easy. So I'm just looking quite hard to see what's going on in the chat and talking at the same time. obviously new to this. So have you got the chat up, Matt?
I haven't. I find it a bit distracting, but I'll hang on.
If anyone's got any questions or anything like that, we'd be glad to try and answer them if we can. I've got a few things here too that I'd like to talk about, maybe bring up. So what do you think they are, bro? What do you think Yowies, Bigfoot, Yeren, Sasquatch, Yeti, what do you think they are? What's in a nutshell?
I don't know. I tend to be a flesh and blood guy, but I don't know. I try to keep an open mind as well. There's certainly a lot of strange things revolving around this topic, whether that's paranormal or woo or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I see. I'm a great fan of Rick at Wood Booger Farm and
Wood Booger, he's on here, I think. Got heaps of people.
G'day, Rick. Yeah, I think his way of thinking about the topic is sort of along the lines that I do. Like I said, I do keep an open mind about things, but honestly, some of the videos that I watch, and then I look at the comments, and there's 1,000 Bigfoot in each frame. You know, people comment, "Oh, there's one to your left, one to your right." I just don't see it. I can't see it.
I'm saying it's like Magic Eye. I could never see those Magic Eye pictures.
Yeah.
I can see it, bro.
I'm the same. I mean, what are you looking at? Like, and honestly, it's not through lack of trying. I'll slow a video down and look at the comments and the timestamps, and I think it's a bloody bush, mate. Come on, it's it's a tree.
Yeah, you could literally pick anything out of any shadows cast or trees or branches. It's like clouds, man. You can stare at clouds all day and see shit all day long. Exactly the same, in my opinion.
It's just the way our brains are wired.
Yeah.
To see faces and things, you know. I think to myself, maybe it's me, you know, like I'm unable to see these things, but when I go back and look at the videos, whatever, I think to myself, I don't know, I can't be wrong a million times, like.
Yeah. That's where hearing audio files reign supreme, I think.
Oh, for sure.
You know, you can't deny what you hear. So it's what makes it.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of value to audio, I think. Even though it bores me to tears listening to it, I still do. Yeah.
Look at you would have seen Rusty's stuff, Russell Ledmore.
Yeah.
Or his stuff. He's got some. Well, as far as the Australian scene goes, he's probably got the best audio that anyone's got, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey.
He's put a lot of time and money into
big
what
time.
he does. You know,
Yeah, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort. Unfortunately, when you've got a full-time job to worry about and everything else, your family and day-to-day things, it's really hard to dedicate that kind of time. So hats off to him for doing that. I think he's taken a break as far as I know.
Yeah.
Definitely. I seem to be along the same lines as you, bro. I tend to think that they're mostly flesh and blood being, much like ourselves. However, there definitely are elements here that defy belief. So, who are we to judge anyway? We don't really know jack shit about him. You know,
Yeah.
big scheme of things, we can only speculate. There's certain things like you were talking before we went live. You were talking about the whole cloaking thing. What do you think that is, man?
Well, I tend to think it's probably more of a blending thing with them. I think they're the hide and seek champs, you know. Like, but then you hear stories of people seeing them disappear in front of their eyes, or walking into a tree, or so. I don't know. I try to keep an open mind about it, but some of it's just a bit far out for me. Like, yeah, I as much as I'd like for that to happen, I just, my brain just can't go there, you know. Like,
Yeah, like the flat Earth theory.
yeah.
That's one rabbit hole that I'll never go down, people.
Yeah, I can't do flat Earth. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, the cloaking thing. Look, I've heard Tim Baker. He's said a bit about it, which I tend to think that he could be onto something there. He's saying that perhaps the infrasound that these guys emit could perhaps play tricks on our vision as to what was right in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but it kind of seems plausible and a fairly scientific theory too, if you ask me. Like, as far as just disappearing. Hey, unless you know, you believe in ghosts and stuff like that. Obviously, if you do, well, you'd be aware that humans have ghostly apparitions and stuff like that. So why not Bigfoot?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a firm believer in ghosts and things like that. Yeah, I'm not sure though if that relates to Bigfoot. So whether the two subjects are joined or not, I just don't know.
Do you think they've been around for a lot longer than we have?
Oh,
You say yes.
Yeah, sure. Like, I know, I've actually been looking at some historical accounts in Australia, and I think some of them go back to the 1830s, and I find that very interesting. People had no idea about Bigfoot then, and why would they make that stuff up? Like, to be ridiculed, or
That's right. All these reports from, like I said, back in the days of the first European settlers, and then you had the Aboriginal people speaking of them. So there is a website maybe called Trove or something like that, and it's got all the digitized newspapers that you can search through. And all you need to type in, man, is hairy man, and see how many news stories pop up. Yeah, blows your mind, man. Unbelievable. Right, I've got another thing here, another question for you, mate. How many types do you think there are here in Australia?
I tend to think there's definitely two types. Your normal Yowie, and then the smaller Gunjidi. I've actually found a few prints that were no more than 5 or 6 inches long. And I'm thinking, there's no way a little kid's running around out here barefoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've actually spoken to a few people who've had face-to-face sightings with the smaller ones. So I definitely think there's two types here. What about you?
Yeah, same deal. Seems to be two types, or possibly even three, perhaps. But yeah, whether you've got the medium-sized 5 to 6 foot, just being a smaller version of the 8-10 foot models that you're seeing. But there's definitely the small Dundee type, brown jack types that people talk about. They seem to be quite common up the north coast of New South Wales, from what I gather. And yet again, the Aboriginals talk of them. So, as per usual, we tend to look at beliefs and views of the Aboriginals and other natives from around different parts of the world as all folklore and myth and all the rest of it. We don't really take it seriously enough, I think, which seems to be a shame.
Yeah. What's your opinion on Dogman?
Dogman.
Dogman.
Yeah. He knows about Dogman. So, people are definitely seeing him. That is sure. And I don't think there is any reports of Bigfoot walking around with a big fluffy tail and pointy ears sitting on top of their head, and plus the big snout, which, I stand corrected. There's supposedly a type of Bigfoot in the US which does have a protruding snout, maybe a couple. Gugway, I think, is one of them. But they're pretty. It's pretty out there, eh? Like, I know people here in Australia tend to, a lot of them in the Yowie field tend to dismiss the theory of dogmen, even though there's not a lot of reports here in Australia, but there's a few that I've heard over the years, and there's even one not far from where I live now at Watanabe. I think that guy was interviewed on Dogman Encounters, Vic Cundiff's channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really does make you wonder. There was also a report Upper Hutt in New Zealand, which is part of the Hutt Valley, close to Wellington, bottom of the North Island. And it kind of makes you think, well, God, if they're there, what are these things? Are these just like interdimensionals that some people talk about Bigfoot going into portals and stuff like that. What if these dogmen are actually some kind of terrestrial being? Who's to say? Like, we're such a small part of the universe. I mean, God, who knows, man? But I definitely think that there's people out there that are seeing what resembles a dogman or a werewolf. There was that big, I think Rick from Woodbooger, he brought up the quite a few channels actually, Micah Dave as well. The attack on the lady, was that in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Found dead. Whether there's some kind of, whether that is in relation to that boy that went missing for those 3 days and was found apparently looked after by a bear. So yeah, man, I dare say the truth is indeed stranger than fiction. So
yeah, I don't know, I'm still on the fence with dogmen in Australia. I'd like to see some better evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a couple of fairly dodgy people on YouTube. Claiming to film them. I don't know.
Yeah. I've seen one channel, mate. Walking with them. There's Pet Dog Man and Yowies and.
Yeah, I just can't see them, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really think that helps the cause.
It doesn't. Yeah, it definitely doesn't, and it gives all the normies just more reason to ridicule people that should take these things seriously. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, you see, good on the person if they believe it and they're willing to put that out there and leave themselves open to be trolled and whatever on the me. Like I said, I can't even barely put Yowie stuff on my YouTube channel because I just can't be bothered dealing with people. But
you're gonna attract unwanted attention. Unfortunately, anything fringe like that. I've had a few troll comments, which it's water off a duck's back. To be honest, I quite enjoy leaving smart ass remarks to them anyway. So. But unfortunately, we will attract ridicule, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, for sure.
What else have we got here? So Yowies in relation to Bigfoot. What do you think? We're pretty much dealing with the same creature,
Yeah.
Race, same species, different race, perhaps.
Yeah, I tend to believe that. I don't think they're anywhere near as numerous here. I think the population is a lot lower.
Yeah.
I watched an interesting video on YouTube. It was a while ago. It was with it was at an Indigenous people meeting, and they had Indigenous leaders from all over the world at a conference here, and there was a Native American fella. I just can't for the life of me think of what his name is, and he spoke of how the population is actually declining here as opposed to the States. And I actually found that very interesting.
Wow. Yeah, I can't say I've seen it. I would have been under the impression myself that they'd be along the same lines as the US populations as far as resistance to our diseases and anything along those lines. You've got your development and human encroachment onto bush and all that, but there's still, there's a lot of bush out there that's left untapped. So, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, who knows, man?
Yeah.
But I think there's a few out there to be able to, to have the number of reports that you do from, even just looking at the Great Dividing Range itself, you look at all the reports that are spread out over that area. I mean, surely it can't be the same group of Yowies just travelling up and down to play
I saw it was a few years ago now. I watched I think it was back in the 90s when the large bushfires went through the Blue Mountains.
Yeah.
And wiped out a lot of bushland. And there was one particular street in Blackheath, I remember.
Yeah.
It was just a road that went nowhere out on a ridge. and there was probably 20 or 30 houses along that road, and everybody in that street had activity. Everybody. Just for the fact that they were actually coming into people's yards.
Wow.
Scavenging pet food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is up in the Blue Mountains, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of a street like that, whether it's the same one.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting, and for people who had no idea or experience to have come face to face through windows,
Yeah,
and things like that, like
and,
them actually coming to people's houses and looking through the windows. Yeah.
Curiosity, eh?
Yeah.
That'd be as curious as what we are. When you think about how curious we can be with certain things and stuff like that, that'd be exactly the same, in my opinion. And yeah, would provide some pretty good entertainment, plus free food.
Well, that's it. Maybe grab a cat on the way out.
Yeah, cat or a dog. Yeah, there's no denying that they enjoy to take them from time to time. What are your thoughts on them taking people?
Yeah, I guess it probably does happen.
What about that kid you got hooked up?
Yeah, probably definitely does happen, but I don't know. I spent so much time in the bush as a kid.
Mm.
You know, am I ugly? Like, maybe I'm too ugly for Yowies to take. Like, I don't know.
Well, probably depends on their personality as such. I think there is some kind of, they do have, I'm speaking for Bigfoot here too. I think that they do have some kind of an affinity for children, whether they see them as, less of a threat, more entertaining to watch, or whether they could even be just an easier victim.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I've never. Sure, lots of people go missing. Actually, we had a lady go missing here, not far from here.
David Politis brought that one up, didn't he?
Yeah,
Was that the one? The elderly lady?
At St Ives Wildflower.
Nice. Adair. Her last name was Adair. Elizabeth Adair, was it?
Yeah. And I find that pretty strange.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a large area to search, and she was quite an elderly lady.
Yeah.
So she couldn't have wandered too far, although she did have, if I remember correctly, the beginnings of a bit of dementia.
Yeah.
So she could have wandered off in the bush. But I think to myself, surely they would have found her. I mean, they searched and searched and searched that area.
They would have used dogs as well, you'd think.
But they found a car in the car park there, and that was the last anybody ever seen of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty strange.
Yeah. Yeah, there's and that's as far as David Politis goes, his work is just blew me away, man, when I come across the missing 411 stuff. That was right out there. And the fact that it's not just refined to the US, this is a worldwide problem. And then you start taking notice of news reports of missing people and stuff like that, and going through the details. A few years ago, there was some kind of Bushdorf rave type party out. Where was it? Out Windsor Way there somewhere, around the Colo River perhaps.
Yeah.
Somewhere up around there. And this Chinese guy, Chinese national, he was out there and went missing under really strange circumstances. And everything, you're reading the news story, and even the police are saying this is like one of the strangest cases that we've had. His friends, he took off, the last he was seen, he took off into the bush to go to the toilet. And then his friends left the rave the next day thinking that he had got a ride with someone else. And it turns out he'd never come back from when he went into the bush to go to the toilet. And the only thing they ever found of him was his shoes with his socks tucked inside.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and that was it, man. Nothing. And even the cops said, there's one news story, they even said that everything's suggesting that he's been taken. By who, they're not sure, and why, they don't know. But yeah, it's a full on.
I don't know if you've ever been out the Colo area, but
No.
It is a massive wilderness. Like,
yeah.
And there's been a lot of sightings in that area, encounters, sightings. Probably in the late 90s, I went out there a few times bass fishing.
Yeah.
And it is a massive area, like true wilderness. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if it supported quite a large population of them in that area. It is. There's no trails other than a handful. There's no into the Colo Gorge. There's no. The only way you can get in there is by kayak.
Yeah, be good fishing too, I bet.
Yeah, it's not too bad. A lot of Aboriginal
paintings.
Yeah, a lot of that. There's a lot of it's all sandstone escarpment. So there's a lot of overhangs and caves, and nearly every single one has got some sign that Aboriginal people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome to go see.
Yeah, it is truly a beautiful place. And not that far from Sydney.
No, that's the thing. When you're flying above Sydney, it just blows your mind. You've got this massive big city, probably one of the biggest cities in the Southern Hemisphere, and it's one side is obviously surrounded by ocean, but then you got the other side, both north and the south and the west, surrounded by vast areas of bushland.
Yeah,
like it's massive. So yeah, there's definitely more than enough nooks and crannies for things like that to go on and whatnot.
I don't know. I spent a lot of time out towards Canangra Walls. Did a lot of walking around that area, out towards Oberon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And again, it is a vast wilderness.
Yeah.
You could do a day's walk from where you left the car, and you're virtually in the middle of nowhere. There is not a house, not anything. You can still drink water straight out of the river. Like the water's crystal clear, beautiful. You're basically in the middle of nowhere. If something happens to you, there's not even any phone reception. That's how but remote the place is.
Yeah, well, I mean that's half the reason why I bloody bought that little weepoo.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, going and stuff. Anything can happen, and no one needs an introduction into how many poisonous things are out in the Aussie bush, man.
You're a bloody wimp, mate. You're a Kiwi. That's your problem.
We had to deal with nothing. I mean, hey, we get a few poisonous things. Oh, you got the caterpillar spider was the one poisonous spider that we had, but now we've got the Aussie invaders. Whitetail spiders are bloody everywhere, man. Whitetail, you got redbacks, but yeah, as far as any venomous land snakes or anything like that, you don't get. You do get occasional sea snake, but yeah, no, we're pretty lucky over there. A wolf spider was pretty much the worst thing you're going to find in the bush. Or wetters. Do you know what a wetter is?
Yeah, like a big cricket thing, aren't
Yeah, they're like a Jurassic cricket with big mandibles, man. Oh, you don't want to get bitten by them. There was moments when I was a kid, I refused to stack firewood. My old man brought it up not long ago. He goes, "Remember that time you refused to stack all that firewood?" I said, "Yeah, because it was Kānuka. In Kānuka, there's always these. Wetters used to love boring into them, so you pick up a thing and they crawl out of the holes and it's freaking me right out." But yeah, they weren't venomous or anything, just scary looking.
Yeah, I had an insect fascination as a kid and got stung by and bit by many things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the way you learn from your mistakes better, I think. How you doing? You all right? Come here.
It's a shame Digger couldn't be here. I would have liked it.
I know. I wonder if he's had complications there. We'll have to do it again, though. I mean, we can still we can have another chat at a later date for sure. So, is there any questions? I think people were generally just having a chat.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any questions there. Yeah. So yeah, friend or foe was the next one. So we kind of touched on that before. You know, I think once again, these are only my opinions, but I tend to think that they're much like humans. You're going to get your good ones, your bad ones, and everywhere in between. Probably got a very short fuse, generally speaking. So you wouldn't want to piss them off, so to speak. And it probably wouldn't take much to either. That's why I'm reluctant about going out and feeding them and stuff like that. I know people get some pretty good activity when they start habituating with food and stuff, but I reckon it's just, yeah, I think it gets quite risky once you start feeding them. And
yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
No.
But going out at night time doesn't worry me at all. I'm not frightened. I'm not frightened to walk around at night time in the bush. It doesn't worry me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I used to when I was before I moved here. I was working as a possum trapper to start with. So I was trapping possums. That was probably for a year and a half or something. That was really cool because I got to see a lot of the country. But it was I worked 7 days a week. You'd work until the end of your contract, and then you'd have like a week off. So you're in the bush running weird little leg hold traps, or US made Victor traps.
Yeah.
And we were probably running 250 traps each or something. So there's heaps of walking. I was really fit back then, actually. And yeah, our tallies were sometimes up to around 100 a day, 100 possums a day. Back then, and I think still to this day, they are New Zealand's #1 pest. But unfortunately, the Department of Conservation and Forest and Bird Society in New Zealand seem to think that dropping tons of compound is the way to go, where it's clearly not, because there's a lot of by-kill secondary poisoning.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. Not to mention, it's just tainting everything. Yeah. So, no, it's just as they pull up these scientists, right, that are promoting 1080 poison. They pull up a packet of fucking, excuse the language, salt and vinegar chips and say, this is basically what 1080 poison is. Obviously, research bias. But anything that dies from 1080, once it dies and whatever eats that, is going to get poisoned, and it just keeps going and going and going. It's lethal stuff. They use it here in Australia, but to a lesser degree. I think they have baits for dogs and stuff like that over here.
Yeah.
But they just dump tons of it. in our wilderness, backcountry, and all that kind of thing. So it's real sad state of affairs. But so anyway, cut a long story short, I was a possum trapper, and then after that, I worked for the regional council on the pest board, and we used to do night shooting. Excuse me, sorry, bro. We used to do a lot of night shooting, and yeah, basically get tallies for them to work out populations. Because we were covering 250 hectares each a night on motorbikes, and would go out and shoot possums, rabbits, sometimes geese, hares. Yeah, so I'd done that for a while, and then moved over to Australia in the construction. Can't remember what I was talking about in the first place. Oh yeah, scared of the night. So yeah, I used to do a lot of night shooting and stuff like that by myself back home. But as far as me going, say if I went up to the Wadigans at night by myself, I might be a little bit reluctant to jump out of the car anyway, or at least have the keys in the ignition and the car pointed in the right direction.
See, I don't know. It doesn't worry me at all. I think I would have got chewed up and taken a long time ago if that was going to happen. I don't know.
That's right. All these reports you hear, everyone says, every single person, if they wanted me, they would have had me. So I think you're right there. They'd rather scare you off before actually doing something to hurt you, from what I gather anyway. Yeah. That's even if they don't want you there. Sometimes they might want to play with you. You just don't know. They might get off on scaring us, you know.
Well, that's it.
If you think if they're anything similar to what we are, as far as personality and character goes, there would have to be a few pranksters out there. Yeah. What else?
You were going to say, talk about the chances of them being in New Zealand.
Yeah, so obviously there are claims that there is some kind of a hairy man living in New Zealand. Two most common names that I know of is the Moiho and the Ma Ero. There's other names for them depending on what area of the country you go to. So straight away, you know, if you think back to the ancient, to the Māoris of the old days, they had different names for the same kind of creature. So you can go down here. Oops! Oh, gotta go around and get him. Take time, bro. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of Māori folklore there, but I grew up where I grew up. We used to talk about the taniwha, which is that is would be. It sounds more like a taniwha is like a spiritual kind of water serpent. You know, normally found in rivers and lakes, and can come in the form of different things, you know. So it kind of sounds more like a bunyip, in my opinion.
Okay.
What a bunyip is over here. So there was a lot of talk of that, and you know, there was areas where we wouldn't swim because there was apparently a taniwha there. But as far as hairy man walking around the woods and stuff like that, I never heard that as a child. But hey, this was one area of New Zealand. So you just don't know. There's more than enough evidence to suggest that there were New Zealand was populated before the arrival of the Māori people, which turned up, they reckon, around 800 years ago. And the Māori refer to them as the tangata whenua, which is the people of the land. And from what I gather, there was 3 races which made up the nation of what they call Waitaha. And there was the Patipaerehe, or the Turuhu. And they were basically fairy people that lived in the hills. They had supernatural powers, I think, and they would also, the Māori used to talk of them, they had like a flute, maybe a kōrero, I think they're called, flute type thing, and they used to, basically whisk away children and women. So there was them, which I still think that they could actually be out there. And there was also the giants. There were, there has been actual skeletons found and dug up, 8 foot. There was another one, Timaru, a news report from a paper back in the 1800s. They reckon they found one 6 meters. Skeleton, 6 meters tall, man. Yep. Yeah, South Island. And down there, the Māori of that area used to call these giants Te Kahui Tupua, I think. And they were big giants that used to feed on humans. So hey, it's all folklore, but yeah, there's been some pretty unreal things excavated and dug up over the years. But unfortunately, like anywhere else around the Western world, gets covered up pretty quick smart. So yeah, it's a highly controversial subject over New Zealand as to whether there were New Zealand was populated prior to the Māori arrival. But as a kid, for me going to school, we were taught that the Moriori were already here. And then the Māori turned up and basically, being a warlike people, took over, and the last of them ended up over in the Chatham Islands. Whether the Moriori were part of the nation of Waitaha, I'm not sure. But yeah, pretty interesting. Now, going back to the hairy man, certain areas like the Coromandel, I think there was reports. Apparently, some gold prospectors may have been killed. Oh, there was one that was apparently half-eaten. Gold prospector was found half-eaten, and a wife of a prospector was found with her head broken. With her neck broken. But whether these stories were just thrown out there to scare people, given that, there was a gold rush going on at the time. So, I don't. Rex Gilroy seems to think that they're over there. He's found evidence, he reckons. He's saying, and I've always thought, well, so if they are there, then how did they get there to start with? For me, it's quite easy to see Australia being, well, as big as it is, a huge continent. And it's not too far from, New Guinea and Indonesia, up the northern end, where I'd imagine there would have been land bridges at some stage. So, you've got the Orang Pendik, and then you've got the Yeren up in China and Asia. And so you could see there would be some kind of a link. Well, but New Zealand being so far off, I don't know. There is Kim Sinclair. She has a channel called Cryptids in New Zealand, and she quite often talks to stories, reports, reads people's stories and encounters like that. I'd like to hear it from the people themselves. Kind of gives you a better idea of whether they're just riding a tall tale or actual experiencing these things. But she's coming up with some stuff. So yeah, it's definitely got me on the fence. Asked me 5 years ago, I would have said no way. There's no way that there'd be Bigfoot in New Zealand. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, I'm trying to think how long have Maori people lived in New Zealand for?
About 800, between 600 and 800 years, and they pretty evident that they come from well, there was certain canoes that left from different areas. So I know the Cook Island Māori are very similar, and they recall buckers and stuff leaving Cook Islands. But yeah, the Māori speak of a place called Hawaii, which could be Hawaii. It could have been, this could have been Lemuria. There's often there's a lot of talk about Lemuria and where that was. It seems to be that it was either in the middle of bloody Pacific Ocean or in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Maybe they came from there. I don't know. I don't know where exactly they came from. They talk of a place called Hawaii. Yeah, about 800 years. So not long, really.
Like you said, New Zealand being so isolated, it's hard to imagine how a Yowie creature could get there unless they've been there the whole time,
Yeah, well, that's the thing, mate. How long ago were the days of Gondwana land, when New Zealand was a part of Australia and Antarctica and South America? If they'd been around for that long, then there's every possibility. But then why isn't there other mammals there?
Yeah.
You don't have, well, as far as native mammals go, it's literally crawling with marsupials and deer and pigs and goats and everything else now. But
they're all introduced by us.
Yeah, it's like the world's largest game preserve. It's awesome if you're into hunting. Just lay off the 1080, please.
It's a shame that there's not mowers still running around.
Well, yeah, that's my argument, because people say, well, the deer are ruining the forests and all this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, they've just taken the place of the moa, because they were a grazing, browsing animal, and, man, they would have eaten some food, right? They would have, yeah. They're saying that with the deer and the introduced species, mammals and stuff, fair enough, there's definitely like the stoats and the ferrets and stuff like that are definitely decimating our native bird populations, which is a shame to see. But I don't think the deer and the chamois and the tar and all those are causing as much damage as what people are making out to be.
Yeah, I mean, we have the same problems here, I guess. Like all the feral animals that have been introduced here. Even just your feral cat, the amount of damage is
crazy, right?
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah, we used to get quite a few feral cats with the old on the pest board. Even when I was trapping, you'd get the occasional one, and they were a handful.
Yeah, right.
Even our boss, the Jack Russells, they had 3 Jack Russells, and we used to go dogging every now and then. But they'd deal to a possum pretty quick, smart man. But a cat, totally different. But very, very careful. Yeah. So they are. They're cats are just amazing predators. Amazing hunters.
Yeah, we'll have to organise a camp out somewhere one time, eh?
Yeah, most definitely. I'll tell you what I've done yesterday, actually. I've got an old handy cam, well, camcorder. This is what my very first video on this YouTube channel. I use this. It's a JVC camcorder. So yesterday, I opened it up and took out the UV pass filter. So now it is it's what you class as a full spectrum camera. So it sees from one end of the scale to the other. So if I get a infrared light, where's the remote, Isaac? Pass me the remote, please, buddy. If I get a remote, I'll be able to show you. you'll see now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just need to get an infrared light, a little flashlight, tape it to the side of it, and I've got myself some nice night vision, night investigations. So,
I'm actually looking at a monocular at the moment.
yeah, I've got one.
That has night vision capabilities. So
I do have one.
D from Lady in the Woods.
Lady in the Woods, yeah.
Link up.
She's here.
Yeah. Unbelievable magnification on the thing. I'll try and find the link and send it to you and have a look at it.
Oh, she got one. Has Lady in the Woods got night vision?
No, she posted the link up in our messenger group.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean the thing's $50.
Really?
Yeah.
So it must be. Is it infrared or proper passive night vision?
I'm not 100% sure. It uses digital stacking or something from memory.
That's beyond me. I can pretend that I know what you're talking about. But
yeah, I don't even know what that means, but that was unbelievable zooming capabilities. Like we're talking miles.
Yeah. Nice.
And for the price, like for $50, like.
Share the link, man. I'll be really interested to see what you're talking about. I've got obviously I've got this here, this puppy, which I've only used once at 360, but I've got so obviously that's not for night. You guys have seen it set up, but I've got this. This is the reason why I think Garmin's the way to go, because of well, everything you can do with them, the components and stuff you can get from them. This here is a remote control. You put that on your wrist. So rather than having to reach up where I've got it positioned behind my head, rather than having to reach up and switch it on manually or use voice activation, which you can't always rely on, I've got that remote control, which will be on my wrist. Press record, and she's away, and you can see just by looking at that watch or that it's recording. So you can be positive that you're not going to miss anything. This here is obviously, this is the little thing that I made that goes in my backpack. And this is called it's another Garmin product. It's a powered tripod mount. So it's just putting the camera on there and hooking this up to my USB. What are you doing? Showing off your fire truck. Plugging that into a battery pack, and you've got backup. There's one thing about the old 360 cameras, bro, is you're probably only going to get about an hour battery time if you just use the onboard battery. But saying that, these do have replaceable batteries, whereas the other cameras don't. They've got a built-in battery.
Yeah. So
you're really going to struggle to get any more footage in about 45 minutes or an hour. Yeah. And the other selling point about these that sold me, where these lenses are replaceable. You can buy them for about $60 for a pair, and it's just a matter of unscrewing them and screwing on the new ones.
Okay.
So if I was to scratch, awesome, mate. Any other cameraman, you do that, you got to send your camera back or away to get repaired or whatever. You can't do it yourself. So,
right.
Yeah, you pay a bit more. Yeah, they're really cool. Good software that comes with them. Their firmware gets updated, and pretty much from the get-go, they've just got better and better and better with their updates. So, yeah, hopefully it'll come in handy at some stage. One more that I got.
Oh, yeah, audio.
Yeah, haven't used it yet. It's come in the mail the other day. So I got to figure out how to bloody use the thing.
Well, I reckon we wrap it up, eh?
May as well, bro. How long we've been going for a while. So yeah, hey, it was really good to catch up with you, Matt. We've
Yeah, you too,
had it
mate.
online for a fair while now, and yeah, it's been a long time coming. So we'll definitely have to collaborate a little bit more in the future. Maybe go for a camp. Maybe we should go up bloody Wadigan somewhere, or even down your way to around the Hawkesbury. Perhaps go camp there for a night or whatever.
For sure.
What else? Bummer, Digger couldn't make it, but maybe next time we do this, if you want to, of course, we'll get Digger on board. There's probably a lot that he wants to bring up and talk about, where his channel's going and whatnot. If you guys haven't subscribed to Digger's channel, I suggest you do. It's pretty good. He focuses more along the lines of, the unknown dangers of the Aussie bush and the fact that the Yowies do have an affinity for children, even noisy ones like this one right here. And yeah, provides a platform for people that want to tell their experience while remaining anonymous. So definitely check his channel out if you haven't. As for you, Matt, I'll be seeing you on other channels, more likely on the live chat. I'd like to thank everyone that's turned up today. Been awesome. I'm shy. It's a little bit hard. It's the first time I've done this, so it's really hard to kind of look at the chat and talk at the same time, and yeah, it's pretty out there. But maybe it's just a matter of getting used to it all, I guess. Getting over that stage fright.
Yeah.
You've even managed to chat on there far out. That's pretty good, mate. That's multitasking. Wow, nice. All right. Well, yeah, good to have you on, Matt.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
I'm sure everyone appreciated seeing you as well. So, yeah, we'll do it again for sure.
Thanks everyone for watching.
No worries, bro. Well, we'll talk to you later. For everyone there on the chat, take it easy, take care, and we will see you in the near future. Cheers, everyone. See you, Matt.
See you, mate.
Cheers, bro.